you were injured in combat.
Mhm.
You took a round in the leg. Is that correct?
In the hip. Yeah. High hip on the left side of my body.
And there was some concern whether or not you'd be able to come back, and you did come back.
Yes.
Physically and mentally, what was that recovery like?
Slow. There was, I still deal, I have, I would say a neuropathic deficiency in my left leg to this day. The impact of the round was not awesome by any stretch of the imagination, but the neuropathic issues, it interacted with my sciatic nerve somehow. And the doctors don't know. It's like it could have been the shock wave associated with the round passing near it. It could have clipped it. It could have been a piece of shrapnel. And then honestly, it doesn't even matter. It fried it down to my ankle. So for about a year, I had drop foot when it first happened. Recovered usage of my leg to about my knee pretty rapidly. I mean, I'd estimate within a few days, but then just horrible ankle issues. I can't dorsiflex I couldn't dorsiflex my ankle for probably 2 years, which is a problem when you're either walking or wearing shoes in general, or even, let alone trying to put your kid on and run. So the rehab from it was, nerves regrow at 1 millimeter a day or 1 inch a month is what doctors have told me for years. And at some point, like, this is what you got. So I kind of figured out ways to work around it, and it did improve. I can dorsiflex my ankle at this point. It's definitely not as strong as my right leg, and I still have issues. Like, I'm very careful if I'm doing any lateral movement because I can roll my ankle to the outside very easily. So uneven terrain, I'm cautious with. But I mean, I live a very full life. Don't get me wrong, but it took years for it to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's another question I wanted about your childhood. Like, were you always sort of a daredevil or what? I mean,
I don't think I'm a daredevil now. People say that. I'm like, what I do is exceptionally normal.
I think Evil might hesitate a little bit to do some of the stuff you're doing. Let's talk a little bit about some of that stuff. So you're a pilot, helicopters and fixed wing, right?
Yep.
Very cool. You also jump out of planes and have done that forever, obviously. But
I'm a fan of testing gravity.
You also, I believe, still have a world record for wingsuit diving, wingsuit jumping. What do you call that craziness?
That was a wingsuit skydiving record, I believe. So it was broken about 3 or 4 years after I set it, and then a Red Bull guy just smashed it. He had a plane that was capable of getting higher, and he had an amazing tailwind. And don't get me wrong, he's a world-class pilot. He smashed it to the point I don't think anybody will break it again.
Wow, it was like the perfect storm, huh? Everything.
Yeah. Which I wish I would have had those conditions, and we timed it around trying to have those, but sometimes the winds aloft just don't participate. So you got what you got.
And you did that particular jump to raise money for the Navy SEAL Foundation?
Yes. And so this goes back to, how do you find purpose when you're out of the military? Because I got out in 2013. That record jump was in 2015, late August of 2015 specifically. And the reason that I wanted to do it is that I, just like a lot of people do, if not most people, or potentially even all, for a certain period of time, you sit there on a job that sometimes could make the news, and then you realize that you're just on the couch now, and you're limited to being able to watch the news. And it's a tough thing to do. I didn't necessarily want to be done with the military, but my body, specifically, it was my ankle, that there's just no way I could have continued my operational career. I would have been a risk to myself and everybody else around me, which I cared more about the latter part of that than I do the risk to myself. So I didn't want to be done, and I wanted to still have a fight, be involved in the fight in some way. And I realized, absent being able to do it myself, I mean, what better could you do than support families? Because that is an aspect of this, and I bet it's true in law enforcement as well, that they're often very forgotten. The toll that it takes on the family unit, specifically military. I'll be honest, I think law enforcement has a more difficult job than military because, yes, I did very long deployments, and for a period of time, they were very frequent. But when I left, I checked in for work, and then I checked out for work, and I came home. You guys, with all my friends, I mean, first off, you work largely where you live, which is a huge difference from where I was. I was thousands of miles away from where I lived. So I didn't have to drive by every day and be like, oh, I remember that wreck or that person that I had to pick up off the side of the road or this, that. And you're dealing with people that are in your community. And for the cops and first responders that I know, there is no off. Like if you're out and about and something happens, they're going to respond because that's their role. So there's no off switch. So you guys are, 24/7, 365. I mean, yeah, I did some long deployments, but then after that, like nobody's calling me if a house is on fire or there's an active shooter or, there's a drunk dude down the street that needs to get taken to the drunk tank. Like I'm calling you guys.
I think it's different, different types of stress. I think, does this sound fair to you that like law enforcement over the course of a career may have a lot of sort of lower level stress? Of course, there's going to be pursuits and there's going to be spikes in that, but you're not in a combat zone. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you and
but you might be
like you might be.
You're right. You might be, and that's the difference. Like for me, I just was home. We would go do training, but I'm not worried about getting an IED initiated complex ambush when I'm living out in Chula Vista in San Diego. I mean, if we're getting to that point, things have gone super, super bad as it is, So, yeah. Whereas, I mean, for cops, that's the thing. It might be low level, but man, that anxiety is there because you never know. And we live it, this better than most people. Crazy people do crazy stuff. And you guys are the ones who get called to deal with them.